Ladies, gentlemen, and raiders of all ages, Arc Raiders has now been out for just over a week, and what a week it has been. People have been playing this game endlessly, myself and a number of my friends included, and outside of a few issues here or there, of course, everyone seems to be having a great time. Especially as this is the first week or so after release, it has been quite a busy one in terms of developer responses, bugs popping up, some changes to the game in the form of a hotfix, a patch, and then some pretty major events that happened just last night, and if you were out of the loop, you might have no idea about any of these things going on. So today, we're going to break down what's been going on outside of the game itself, the updates the game has had so far, the roadmap and timeline for the game moving forwards. We'll talk about the success of the game and how players seem to be reacting to it in general. Then we'll talk about any relevant communication from the developers, like telling us that they are aware of or working on certain issues going on with the game. And then finally, we've got two whole brand new map conditions, the limited events that just released last night. So we'll talk about what they actually are, so you're ready to hop in. First things first then, let's start with the updates themselves. On Halloween, we got our first hotfix. It was just a bunch of bug fixes, some bigger than others, fixing augment effects just not working at all, multiple crash-related issues, which is good to see, a memory leak was gotten rid of, which is also an important thing to squash, as well as stopping players from clipping through certain walls and some other smaller changes too. Funnily enough though, this hotfix created its own issues with some animations, and so it had to be partially rolled back, with the issues being ironed out, and then those changes reapplied at a later point, which was the proper patch that we had on Thursday, patch 1.1.0. So not just a hotfix, but a proper client patch this time. Fixed issues with the integrated shield recharger. This is an effect on a Mark III augment. It basically gives you an infinitely recharging shield recharger, but before the patch, it was only functioning when you held it in your hand, which of course was a little bit awkward. They fixed some other general augment skill issues too, and then they said that they fixed exploits using deployables to push players through walls, which is something that people were doing with like barricade kits and such to get into locked rooms without having the key. And to be clear, I want to point this out so that the devs can see it and actually fix it properly. The exploit still exists. They have gotten rid of it in some instances. There are some doors that this does not work for anymore, but I have still seen people clipping into locked rooms with barricade kits after the patch happened. It takes a bit more effort than it did before, but it definitely can still happen. They've also disabled the ability to put barricades at zipline exit points, which is a pretty funny one that I didn't even consider. Obviously, a barricade blocking the end of a zipline would just knock you off if you ziplined into it and then make you fall off to the ground and possibly die, which is quite funny. Then they also added the pre-order emote to the game that was supposed to be there from the start, which is good. And then the biggest change is two brand new map conditions and one new map having the night raid effect available as well. We'll talk about these in a little bit more detail later on, but basically this just adds more variety to your raids and how you treat them. Purely a good thing. And these came out last night, so they are now in the rotation of map events moving forwards. Speaking of moving forward, we have the official post-release content roadmap for the rest of the year for the game, which is to say that there is less than 2 months of time left in the year, and there are still multiple updates planned to be released with meaningful content in that time. For now, what they've said is constant and frequent is going to be new map conditions like the two that were just added, there'll be new feats and new trials, which makes sense as those are systems that update frequently, new cosmetics, which makes sense as they are refreshing the store once a week, I believe. There were 2 new outfits for the player added on Thursday, as well as a new Scrappy outfit, because everyone wants their cock to look good too. Sorry, I couldn't help myself from saying it that way. And then also quality of life updates and such will be rolling out frequently as well. Sometime during this month, so probably either a week from now or 2 weeks from now, depending on their choices with this, we have the North Line update. This will be the unlock for the new map, Stella Montis, which you've been able to see locked off on the launch screen since release. And then there's going to be some sort of community unlock event as well, and the speculation around this is that the community unlock event will be some sort of goal of in-game stats or something that we have to reach as a community that when we reach it will unlock the new map. People seem to think that these two things are tied together. As well, there will be 2 new arc added to the game, the Matriarch and the Shredder. We don't currently know what these will actually be as like actual enemies apart from their names, but we can have some speculation just for fun. The symbol used there beside them looks like a flying insect like a wasp or a hornet would be, so perhaps the Matriarch will be like a queen equivalent for flying arc. And I could totally see it just being this big, terrifying aerial arc that patrols the entire map and rain down hell if it spots people like an even more advanced version of a Rocketeer. But again, that's just pure guess from the name in the picture. As for the Shredder, this just sounds like a bit of a smaller unit to me, and my best guess would that this could be some sort of melee arc, because the Leaper is sort of melee adjacent as an arc, the Tick is sort of melee adjacent as an arc, but we're missing a sort of like mid-indoors melee type smaller arc, like a Fireball type equivalent where you turn a corner indoors, suddenly an arc jumps out out at you with like some bladed appendages perhaps, which I feel like would perfectly fit the name of a shredder. And again, that's just a guess, but I think it sounds pretty reasonable. They've also listed new gameplay items with the symbol beside this being a weapon, so hopefully this does mean new weapons, and then new quests as well will be coming as part of the update too. Then in December, we've got the Cold Snap update, which will have a new map condition called Snowfall, and I imagine this will make the maps look quite wintry. It will probably have a big effect on sound due to snow on the ground, and it might mess with Arc in some way or another due to the cold, either slowing them down or enhancing them because it makes it harder to overheat. I could see that going either way, but it's hard to speculate past that really. Though we do have this one shot from the launch trailer that looks to be covered in snow with a Bastion and a Bombardier hanging out together, so we at least have some concept of how this will make the maps look. There's the Flickering Flames event as well. Honestly, absolutely no clue what that will be at all past the name itself. Then Expedition Departure Window, which marks that this is the time for the first expedition, which is the optional character wipe mechanic in this game. They will also be adding in a new Raider deck, which are the sort of battle pass type equivalents in the game, full of cosmetics and goodies you can unlock as you play. Then another new batch of quests coming in this update too. The support for this game then will continue into next year, and it seems like the developers are full in on committing as much live service support for this game as they can. And seeing just how popular it is getting, I don't blame them in the slightest. On which note, just a quick moment to say this game is doing extremely well. Hundreds of thousands of concurrent active players on Steam on PC alone. Not even any of the other ways of playing. And an important part of this, I think, is that the number of players is pretty consistent so far. Oftentimes, if a game is below expectations or if it lacks content, you'll see the curve start to depreciate within the first week or so. There will be a big bump at release, maybe a bigger bump at the first weekend, and then it will start to decline pretty noticeably. But the fact that this has been pretty much a steady line except for that weekend peak, most likely will hit the same peaks on the weekend days once again this week, if not even higher, as word of mouth spreads about the game, because, well, people like Arc Raiders, and it has a lot of longevity. Loads of people are playing it, even amongst my friend group, people who have thousands of hours in other extraction shooters, and people who had 0 before this game launched. Everyone is having fun in their own various ways, and if you needed further proof of this, just look back to last weekend where the developers had to implement a server queue because they got so overfilled with too many people wanting to play the game at the same time. But in response to this happening and the issue that it created, they did also just give everyone 500 in-game credits for free, which is a nice gesture. That covered then, let's talk about developer responses to players about problems with the game. Basically, this is just a list of issues that I think are worth knowing that the developers have seen and are looking to fix sooner rather than later. This player mentions that the Bettina blueprint drop rate seemingly is just way higher than most others, and the Tempest and Bobcat blueprint drop rate are seemingly way lower. The response was that the team is aware of this, so they know this exists. It's pretty much confirming that this is the case, because this is something that a lot of people have been saying for a long time, but it means that they are trying to fix it. Player stats are also being a bit weird right now, with some of them just locked at 0, and we've been told that they are working on a fix for this too. There's also a couple of different instances of people mentioning the desync in the game. It is a very common discussion. Things like being shot while you're fully behind cover on your screen, because the other player can see you poking out on their screen, even if you think you are fully safe, which is of course a really big deal in a game like this. And they've said that they are investigating this, and I have to imagine this one is a pretty big priority issue to fix. As well, there are known issues where achievements just do not pop, even when you do meet the conditions for them. I've seen this said about various art killing achievements. Bastion was mentioned here. My friends have mentioned not having the Queen killing achievement for any of them, despite having killed it multiple times, and this seems to just be a common issue among achievements for the game, but the team is aware, so it will be fixed at some point. There was also mention of a weird issue where some players can put the hood up or down for the cowboy outfit, some people cannot. It's definitely one of the more minor issues compared to the other ones mentioned, but hey, every fix is an improvement to the game, and it's good to know that they're keeping an eye on this stuff. That's the developer comments of note for the time being then. So now let's talk about the 2 new map conditions in the game. And just to quickly get it out of the way, Blue Gate has night raids now, which means that you can get increased loot quality on that map in ways that you just couldn't do before, which should make things like the puzzle rooms even more valuable than they used to be. As for the other 2 events, we've got Electromagnetic Storm on the Dam Battlegrounds, the Spaceport map, and the Blue Gate map as well. Then the Hidden Bunker event, which is only on the Spaceport map. For Electromagnetic Storm, this just causes a constant lightning storm on the map while it's active. It fires down lightning at the ground. It can hit arc enemies, which it does, and if it does, it acts sort of like a showstopper. A stun effect happens against them, but this isn't consistent by any means. It can also hit players, which does a bunch of damage, and it seems to actually sort of try to actively target players too, which makes stuff like PvP feel absolutely wild during this. And past that, there are fewer extraction points like a night raid as well. There's no raider hatches like a night raid, so there's a chance it also does have increased loot value like like night raids do, but the in-game description for this event doesn't claim that it has this increased loot value, so that might not be the case. Generally speaking, this one is less loot focused and much more just like an event that changes the way the entire map plays in itself while active, and honestly, the vibes are immaculate. Then we have the Hidden Bunker map condition, which is exclusive to the Spaceport map, and this is way more involved than most map conditions and events in the game, sort of similar to the Launch Tower event in Spaceport itself. To start with, the raid itself has a longer time than normal. The earliest that I've loaded in so far is 39 minutes remaining, but I don't think I've had a fresh start of raid spawn yet. The event also spawns 4 antennae around the middle area of the Spaceport map that players need to interact with. These will all be on rooftops, and interacting with one of these antennae will spawn some wasps and hornets, and this will notify all raiders that it has happened. Once all 4 antennae have been completed, the hidden bunker will open on the map. One entrance is here, there's another one a little bit to the north of this spot by the building itself as well. Inside of the bunker there is loads and loads of loot, like honestly way too much for one team to carry, and that combined with the antennas and how that works almost feels like this was built for teamwork between multiple sets of raiders going together and trying to work together. But of course it will often be a hotbed for PvP as well, because it's a big central objective that announces itself to players whenever something happens. Inside of the bunker there are a bunch of data terminals as well. You have to interact with these to begin a download and then stay nearby until the download completes. Once the download is done, you interact again to retrieve the data, and so far the early reports from players are that this data just gives you bonus XP per download that you do when you successfully extract from the raid alive. I've seen people say that if you ping within the main structure of the hidden bunker, it marks it as a quest objective, which makes people speculate that maybe this is for a quest that we haven't had added to the game yet in itself. Other people have said maybe this data is related to the map that we don't have unlocked yet. We don't actually know yet, but of course as people find more things out, or if there is more aspects of this puzzle that we don't know about yet, we will update you in another video on the channel. That said, that's pretty much it then, everyone. That's everything going on with Arc Raiders in the first week or so after release, things from the devs, updates for the game, and stuff that's coming in the future. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and I hope you all are looking forward to the future like I am, because it is looking bright as hell for this game. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.